I can get through to you. What we need to do, is there no way I can get across, say it more pointedly? Better pick it up and put 'em down. Time to step it up, step out, do more than we thought we could do. Make it go round and round like a merry-go-round. Time to say it's time to say what we got, say who we are, go back and see what we did, so we can make sure that what we do next time has more meaning than the last time. Did I say to you, we can do it? Don't forget it. All you gotta do, stay curious and be good to each other. Find out, extend a helping hand, give a smile, share the bread. Did I say we can do it? I think we can.
Mo Armstrong, An Intimate Life on a Lifetime of Learning, Involvement, and Reinvention by Henry Darling himself. In Mo Armstrong's visit to my creative writing course, I remember where I sat down and observed him dressed in veteran attire from cap to toe, answering each question asked by each student. Positioned towards the back of the classroom, I recall watching my peers' smiles. It brought me out of my old tired Friday afternoon trance and later listened to the collective laughter that infused contagious presence of a camaraderie curated by Moe's commentary. Positively aglow amongst the classroom, I could sense the class energy growing as well as my excitement to ask him a life story question myself. Like my other peers, when it was my turn, Moe shook my hand, asked me where my home was, and remained in eye contact with me during our greeting each other. As I nervously scrolled through the list of life questions to locate mine, he calmly talked about people he knew from my hometown. With his hands clasped together and his back leaned against his chair, Moe's relaxed physical presence slowed both my scrolling and my heart rate. My sweating ceased and my interviewer nerves discontinued, allowing myself to smile at him when I finally asked my question. He answered in a caring and meticulous manner, occasionally looking at the ground to recall certain details. Nonetheless, his take on his unstable relationships with both his parents captivated me with the vulnerable and honest delivery. When I returned to my seat, my mind raced as other life story questions regarding Moe's life story began forming in my head. Engaged in a journalistic mindset, I wanted these forming questions to be written out, edited, and hopefully asked. Fortunately, towards the end of April, looking at my computer screen, I found myself smiling at Moe again, excited to seek out his undefinable life story and its undeniable purpose in what would soon be an engaging and transformative interview. To say that Moe Armstrong has lived many lives and has embodied various identities should be better defined as a fact rather than a takeaway. In the beginning of our interview, the fun of getting to know more about Moe began at picking apart the humorous inner workings of his personality. If you were looking to seek out Moe on a regular workday in San Francisco during the 1960s, you wouldn't necessarily find Moe. Instead, you'd find a clown working for the American dollar. For a healthy amount of time, Moe discussed with me the intricacies of his clowning career, with first mentioning the star-studded list of fortunate enough people he had interacted with in his work attire. Barbra Streisand, Nelson Rockefeller, to name a lucky few. However, with his voice sounding more grave, Moe then revealed to me the core of his clown identity was wrapped up in his teachings of a clown culture that also took place in the Bay Area. What we tried to do was get people to design their own makeup. You know, each clown has its own face, Moe explained. In unraveling this cartoonish aspect of Moe's artistic upbringing, it was clear that Moe put his best comically large clown foot forward to inspire and work with others to unmask something deeper and perhaps sillier within themselves. Moe's teaching ability to have a practice outwardly humorous as clowning impacts the lives of others proved to me to be his toying with the creative external to uncover the emotional internal was simply no clowning matter. And each clown carried its own face, and Moe carried the face of not only a clown, but a visionary. Furthermore, what made me so taken with his fulfilled and fun-filled chapter of Moe's life was the layeredness to which his clowning craft. He was passionate clown for the sake of himself and motivated instructor for all. I had the privilege of learning more about his other identities as the conversation flowed into the music industry. Alongside musicians Steve Hayton, Cliff Garrison, and Kurt Palomacki, Moe helped form the group Daddy Longlegs, formerly with the Diggers, a music collective that infused blues, country, folk music together in its signature sound. Moe joined the group after other members officially formed in Europe. With my limited knowledge and scope of the notorious overtaking that rock music took during Moe's era of musical endeavors, I expected him to elaborate on the musical and social highs and possible lows of being part of a touring band in the early 70s. However, what he remembered the most from his band years took us both out of the American music scene. I spent a lot of time with the British people, Moe commented. Sometimes I wouldn't even stay at the hotel. I'd just crash at British people's houses and stay up all night and talk to them after the shows. I love the British people and still do. I love the British people for hearing what they had to say and their take on the world. Similar to his discussing of his clown history, I found Moe's storytelling of his artistry to stop at the art and then segue into the people that surrounded him. So far in our conversation, whatever Moe discussed about himself, he made sure other people, even those in different nationalities, followed at his disposal. Mo's appreciation for British culture extended to his admiration for the more youthful British materiality, books, toys, and fairy tales, and his love for walking in the British streets, taking the subway, and indulging himself in various British bookstores and corner grocery store markets. Towards the end of Mo's lavish commentary, I had nearly forgotten the question I had originally asked him. As I became deeply enthralled with his working theme Mo was carving out regarding the ties he made to larger groups of people. Mo's history represents a collective spirit of others more than an individual one of himself. However, his titles of clown, instructor, and rock performer just scratch the surface of what's embedded in Mo's life story. For Mo, it was the people that made the place when he recognized the clowns, students he's influenced, and the British folk he's talked to and learned from along the way. As outward as Mo was in conversing about the identities he's carried through his lifetime, he also wasn't afraid to wrestle with the internal that carried a spirituality and work ethic that he still holds close to him to this day. Mo's foundation of his sense of service in and out of the military was derived from the teachings of his God, Jesus Christ. I wanted to be there for other guys. The other guys. I was there on these patrols. I wasn't freaked out by guerrilla warfare and being in the jungles. I knew what to expect. I did it right. Throughout his discussion of his religiosity infused the support of men who fought alongside him. Mo's tone remained distinguishedly assertive from his higher-pitched retelling of his fondness for the Bay Area clowning and British memorabilia. In the pivotal moment of our conversation, Mo wasn't just unveiling to me a man who was always at our country's service. Rather, Mo's belief system messaged to me that valiance can come with an array of shades. It could be as light approaching someone in a clown attire to brighten someone's day, or as dark as watching men drop fatally next to you while the responsibility of continuing fighting back remains. Whether it was telling his clown students to keep going or having men in combat ordering him to do the same, Mo's compassion for others and for this country was a hardened consistency in a life that seemed to be polar opposite. As I dove deeper into what he took away from his time in the military, a lot of what I didn't know about myself and others regarding mental health effects of veterans was brought onto him until his time done in Vietnam. I wasn't prepared for all the residual effects of the war. I thought you just go there and come home. Now, as I go to the VA hospitals, I see I'm not the only veteran. A lot of veterans are pretty destroyed from the military service. I didn't think anything of that. I'm just beginning to now, Mo informed me. After commenting that he didn't know much about all that, the world of mental illness, Mo further discussed his determination to figure out his mental condition, situation, to see if other patients were feeling similarly. In working with the VA hospitals, Mo often told other cancer patients, be cautious, be alert. In times of his critiques regarding the healthcare system, he believed fails to tap into the deeper humanity of the healthcare profession. The medical profession doesn't know so much about aftercare. They just give people the same meds, and somebody or something sends people home, and nobody knows what the hell is going on, Mo told me. However, his critique of the system to do better also coincides with his concern for the patient to maintain good health and stability. I mean, people are told, hey, to have knee surgery, they can just go back out and they'll be active again. And that's not the truth. People have to watch out for what they do on their knees from the moment on from that instance. Today, Mo told me he resorts to consuming green blended drinks and lighter protein to maintain dietary consistency. In addition to action for his healthcare system was a call for all to do better. Even patients like him who feel hurt by the system, he continued to bring others, cancer patients and healthcare professionals, into the bigger picture of his augmentation to stress that his concerns should be deemed universal just as much as they are personal. In other words, Mo's been a retired veteran. He's remained self-employed humanitarian. He told me that his loving heart for the well-being of others extends into the home, mentioning that he is grateful he's been for having a consciousness that he believes has let him live for so long. Heading into my final questions, grappling with how reinvention has become a consistent theme in his life with the various duties he's obtained and the health declines he still undergoes, I asked Mo if he still feels the need to reinvent himself to this day. I don't have much choice, Mo said. It's almost an instant reply. What the doctors left me with this chemotherapy and radiation is the metabolic syndrome. So they destroyed each organ a little bit. But each of these organs does not function, so my whole body's out of whack. That means I'm dizzy and stumbling around. He added that how his body reacts to these organ changes fluctuates in terms of physical stability. However, he reiterated that he's learned about living a healthy, balanced lifestyle and should be passed on to other patients and healthcare workers, prompting this need for reinvention for doctors that they should perceive that their patients are more as humans with lives as fragile and vital as Mo's. However, Mo's deep care for the human experience of others, in part having a personal life and health care, constantly reinventing himself, influenced me to stop my vigorous note-taking and ask Mo about something in terms of evolution of his personal reinvention. What would Mo say, if anything, to a younger version of himself? After prompting this question to him, Mo replied that he'd tell the younger Mo to be more focused and driven student. Then he commented on his out-of-class classroom and spirited involvement with the arts and athletics, where students would find him center stage and centerfold. I was a weird football player because I was captain of the football team. I still have the conference record, ribbons, but I also wrote the school musical. Mo said he depicted the duality of his student identity. He said cheekily, added that, I wrote myself in the lead part for these 3 years, sophomore, junior, and senior year. People always would hear me off stage. I didn't have any mics. Aside from the extracurricular prowess Mo had earned, his parents saw these areas of excellence for Mo more as areas of concern due to his poor academic performance. Out of the spotlight, Mo would lug his athletic, though tired self to his father's bakery, where cleaning the tasks and the parental disappointment awaited him. 6 days a week, I'd clean up the bakery at night. Then Mom and Dad were angry because I wasn't a good student. I was also very tired, so I wasn't totally on me. But looking back, I would have enjoyed, being able to be a better student. Mo told me in a solemn and almost youthful tone. Watching Mo's smile fade and hearing his voice drop with the response, I sensed a regret in his face, almost as if his younger self took over my computer screen. However, with the conversation topic of education still looming, I pivoted my final focus on Mo's life and his overall take on education in a system of itself and for its learners. When I asked him how critical he believed education should be in his following rambling, he was almost immediate as he discussed the philosophical constructs and economic constraints of the educational system. We really got to open up education for us to be a lifetime learners. We got to figure out a way for education to be affordable. My God, this is ridiculous. Continuing to speak on the financial woes of education, Mo believed that affordability should pertain to all accessible outlets of education, not just through the traditional college pathway. You don't want to go to college? Okay, well, then let's keep people up on trades. If you want to be a welder? Okay, let's make that stuff a bit affordable. Right now, we make education the most expensive and most difficult thing rather than the most accessible. According to Mo's take on education, while affordability extends to accessibility, accessibility needs uniformity. Hence his strong belief in the education industry and not against each other. I believe in the each one, reach one, teach one model. Mo explained. That model was derived from an online support group for U.S. military veterans and members and sponsored by Hazel and Betty Ford Foundation, and the model to the education industry related back to his life philosophies that seem to expand at the collective level rather than the individual one. But Mo not only believed in this model, he witnessed it firsthand. My classes at the College of Santa Fe went from 100% failure to 100% graduation. I have the awards on the wall. This model isn't something I'm making up in my head. The essence of Mo's model wasn't only backed up by his esteemed accolades, but his hard-earned graduation rates. He also was successful in educating his academic tutoring. It was more like a chain, but we paid the peers. Wherever there's a minimum wage is, or better, that doesn't cost much. Mo said he stated that he found other students and other veterans in class that he taught that were doing better and had them be tutors, and that could be achieved through more than professor-taught courses. However, it can flourish as an instructor and a peer-driven network. While his passion around education may be directed at certain benefits, the educated can receive, he said, his anger toward educators correlated with his views on healthcare professionals. They're more attentive with their tasks than those who they serve, the peers are. The teacher just introduces material and the selections to get that more integrated into a person's old brain, Moe argued. But to each one reach one, teach one model. But his concern for educators is almost as strong as his worries for the uneducated in the United States as he bridged the term illiterate with his own political thoughts. Americans are really on the borderline, semi-literate today. You know, they climb all over people and go, well, that's woke. And I'd rather be woke than able to read and write and even do arithmetic, which is very hard for me because I couldn't clarify 5x equals 100. I'd rather not be dumb and be able to understand anything. Thus, for Moe, illiterate also implies the ignorant of our nation's growing diversity he believes should be celebrated just as much as the educators. I mean, at some point we're going to have to get a grip, man, that really celebrate the educators and celebrate better diversity. The educators have to better celebrate their ability to do what they're teaching and values as set and fight back, Moe concluded. To me, after hearing the input regarding the education amongst everything else, I asked him Moe's life trajectory that earned him a face of a lifetime learner. As a young age, despite his academic hardship, Moe basked in the celebrity life extracurricular outlets to escape the darkness from his family issues, earning athletic prestige, artistic nobility, and hard-earned growth along the way. Thus, amidst the crowdness of his school life, Moe carried more than trophies and lead roles from this bittersweet era of his academic and personal journey. Considering he wished he was more focused student, since he's learned over time how education can reach and teach the minds of many, including himself. His growth also embodied a personal example of how education can fulfill positive reinvention. In terms of second chances with education, Moe also shared with me that returning to education at the college level served as one of the key assets for his lifestyle change. I was able to go back to college and earn 2 master's degrees and graduate valedictorian in my class. I mean, my lifestyle worked. I was still nutty as a fruitcake, but I was able to get through school at a significantly higher level, you know. However, despite Moe's academic rise that drove him to the educational realm of caring for others and making lasting connections, Moe's becoming a lifetime learner has become with a daunting lifetime of learning. Much as what Moe has learned in his life was through physical and mental hardship without any forewarning. He didn't realize the spirit of the afterlife in the presence of a deeper consciousness within himself until 2 men lay to rest on top of him in Vietnam. His post-war mental health battle served as his brutal introductory course to the shaky world of mental illness. But after speaking with Moe, who has become a student anew, it was clear that his chapters have become stepping stones, providing a path for him to influence the minds and hearts of those who have lived similarly and differently from him. From the classes he's taught to the present and past duties, he's dedicated himself to a life that has constantly been reinventing himself, whether he likes it or not. Moe's always believed in and worked for the betterment of others, the world, and himself. Though Moe thinks he's not for everyone when it comes to what it should mean for one to grow persistently, work wholeheartedly, and love unconditionally. His story and value certainly needs to be